Why do people in Bakersfield wear pointed shoes? To kick the cockroaches into the corner, of course. For that insulting little gem, we can thank Johnny Carson, the king of late night, decades before Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and Stephen Colbert entered the picture. Bakersfield was one of Carson's favorite all-purpose punchlines. If it was hick, if it was Mayberry, if it was out of touch or 30 years behind the mainstream, it was Bakersfield. So, thanks in no small measure to one of the most popular men in America, the name Bakersfield came to have the same ring in many American ears as Peoria or Poughkeepsie. A 10-year ring, really. We were the Poland of so many Polish jokes. The guy who walks into a bar with a dog that does all his talking for him. America's municipal dumb blonde. Carson opened the floodgates in a gush of cultural references about Bakersfield.
Bakersfield?
Few of them complimentary followed.
Bakersfield!
At least Carson came by his Bakersfield caricatures honestly. In the mid-1950s, before he made it really big, Carson performed here regularly. It was a way to try out new material. Before Highway 99 moved a few miles west and became a freeway, Union Avenue was a neon-lined bottleneck on the state's main north-south thoroughfare. If you were driving from San Francisco to LA or even Las Vegas, you motored down Union Avenue, stuck behind hay trucks and Saturday night yahoos, past the bustle of the Bakersfield Inn, past Maison Joso and all the rest of them. It was the Bakersfield Strip. Not exactly Vegas, but in 1955, not so far behind it either. Johnny Carson brought his straight-faced shtick here several times, cracking up the farmers and the oil men sitting in the leather booths in their spit-shined cowboy boots alongside their fur stole-clad wives. Long after Carson replaced Jack Parr as NBC's late-night guy in 1962, long after he got too big to work the nightclub circuit, Bakersfield, the first sign of civilization north of Los Angeles, stayed with him. How Bakersfield wished it hadn't. But why? What did Johnny Carson have against us? Bakersfield residents Nona and Jim Darling set themselves to find out in 1990. They attended a taping of the show in Burbank and were delighted to see Carson himself come out to warm up the audience. Carson asked if anyone in the crowd had questions, and they did. Well, he didn't know Nona Darling, did he?
I elbow my wife. I say, ask him why he always makes fun of Bakersfield. Because Nona Darling is fearless. He immediately launches into every Bakersfield joke he's ever done, rapid fire. It was the biggest laughs. He got the whole pre-show routine. And I'm sinking lower and lower and lower into my seat, like, why did I suggest that? You know, it's just humiliating. And people are just really having a good laugh at our expense.
After the opening monologue and the first commercial break, Carson, now seated next to sidekick Ed McMahon behind that familiar desk, recapped his exchange with the Darlings.
Thank you all for coming down, especially our loyal fans from Bakersfield.
We love Bakersfield.
Yeah, I guess occasionally in the past I've made a few jokes about Bakersfield, California, and no offense. It's a nice city.
But you went to Bakersfield when you first started doing your nightclub act.
You know, I did years ago, about 1955. I went to Bakersfield to break in a nightclub act to a place called the Maison Joso. Is that still there? Still there.
Yeah.
Is it still a nice place?
And they were closed. They were shuttered. I yell out, yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, I opened the act there. Died.
Really?
Yeah, died. Bakersfield.
It made me feel good. A little redemption.
Was Carson being fair? An ad in the Bakersfield Californian had promoted his appearance at Maison Joso, now the Golden West Casino, as featuring, quote, one of the brightest young men of show business. A review of that very first show, also published in the Californian, described the effort as a solid hit with patrons, and Carson himself as one of the very best of the post-war comedians. Alas, there never was any kind of reconciliation. Mayor Mary Kay Shell, who brought back the Bakersfield Christmas Parade in the 1980s after a decades-long hiatus, invited Carson to serve as the parade's grand marshal one year. She got no response. In the minds of millions, Bakersfield must have been one traffic signal and a Dairy Queen. In the minds of some, it probably still is. But now Bakersfield is a metro area of 700,000 people, if you include all the pockets and appendages, and a sizable percentage of that growth has come from greater LA. We've got a second stoplight now with a third one on the way. Not bad for the town Johnny Carson often not so affectionately referred to as, quote, the armpit of California. We forgive you, Johnny. Happy birthday. In the armpit of California, Robert Price, 17 News.